speaking of Marvel Capcom, the EVO lineup came out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Capcom Pro Tour lineup came out.
Yeah.
What's it missing?
Something conspicuously missing.
Nothing is missing
from both of those.
Yeah, Marvel is not in the EVO lineup. It's
Yeah.
not even going to be on the Pro Tour.
That was the one where, like, I figured we would, like, briefly mention this because of the EVO stuff, but, like, EVO has a lot of other games.
Yep.
Like, the Capcom Pro Tour, there aren't that many eligible games, and they still didn't include it.
So they had something called the Battle for the Stones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that conclude?
I
Yeah,
believe
that was
so,
last
yeah.
summer, wasn't
Okay,
it?
and then so then people were looking for either another one of those, and then there was nowhere to there, and so they're like, okay, we'll wait for the Capcom Pro Tour, which has been happening annually for like 5 years or so now.
Give or take, yeah.
There was I think like a leaked pitch deck or something like that got out that implied that Marvel would be on the Pro Tour.
Like they had assumed that it
but that was just
would.
a pitch deck. So
Yeah,
apparently
exactly.
not.
Capcom's not being real transparent with what's going on with that, why it's not at EVO. EVO organizers have gone forward to say, maybe there's other parties involved, and maybe these other parties don't like the way or don't want their licenses
I keep forgetting
portrayed in such a way.
I keep forgetting that Disney is an entity in all of this.
Exactly, yeah. I'm sure Capcom would love to promote their game. It's not the best entry in the series.
It doesn't
by far.
It's not like it requires a huge amount of additional work on Capcom's end.
You would think. I mean, but if you do have it on the Pro Tour, you've got to dedicate money both in support,
right,
and like prize money as well.
You got to get commentators. You got to get a lot of stuff.
And also, like at some point, you have to look at the numbers and go like, is this good money to spend on this game that like.
It did not set the world on fire.
Did not set the world on fire. Like the hype seems to not necessarily be there. And then on top of that, if they wanted to treat this as a lasting service, the same way they are doing with Street Fighter and its seasons, they have to work with Disney every step of the way, which is a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Of approvals and the whole process there. So at some point, do you just cut your losses and go like, yeah, I mean, we could support this and maybe we would break even, but the amount of work it would take to work with Disney to make this happen, to continue to support this game, not worth it.
And presumably Disney is getting a cut of everything that they bring in.
And that's like around the launch of the game, there was a lot of like backdoor talk of, we wanted to do this, but Disney.
This actually, that totally reminds me of the Battlefront 2 situation of like the word getting out that like, hey, we would have done cosmetic microtransactions if they had let us, and you wouldn't have had to buy your upgrades.
Yeah. And then also like this was, like those patches and stuff for, was it Ultimate MVC3 got pulled off of download services.
Yep, you couldn't buy the game, you couldn't buy the DLC.
Because the license is expiring and stuff like that. So I feel like at that point, Capcom knew what the fuck they were getting into. They know that Disney was a nightmare partner to work with on this stuff in particular for the type of game they're trying to make. That it's not necessarily a great fit. I've heard plenty of stories from other people that are partnered with Disney making games about like, oh, this is a fucking shit show. And I feel like Capcom should have seen this coming and maybe not done this game. If this is like, like looking at it now, you're like, yeah, maybe in retrospect, this shouldn't have happened in the first place.
But I mean, they didn't have anything to fill that role, that style of game. They needed another Marvel game.
They needed another.
Call up your
game.
friends at Tatsunoko.
Yeah.
Call up your friends at Capcom and say, we're making a Capcom All-Stars that is a versus game.
Yep.
And it's we control all of it. And fuck, here's fucking some asshole character from Ghouls and Ghosts. Guess what? He plays just like Captain America. I don't know. He's got a fucking boomerang bone.
What is the crucial element in the type of game you're talking about? Is it the tag? Is it the team versus?
It's mostly,
It's not the Marvel characters, right? It's
Capcom Fighting Evolution 2.
That
Boom,
is a big
done.
part of it. Yeah.
And that was one of the major complaints about the game is like the X-Men weren't in it. And that's such an integral part. Like not having Mag fucking Nito in your versus game.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is if they were made to make a totally new game that hit the right notes, like which I assume are three-man tags and like 3 screen high jumps are the things you want, right?
Yeah,
that's part of it. Yeah,
if it wasn't an MVC game, but it was the exact same
I think
style.
it would still get by.
Say if it had Dragon Ball Z characters in it.
Sure. What if it was all Dragon Ball Z characters?
That sounds pretty good. I saw that FighterZ, while we're on this vein, is the highest concurrent player count of any fighting game on Steam history.
That's surprised.
But also
a lot of people
80% drop off since release. Which
I
I buy a major chunk of that as like Dragon Ball enthusiasts who do not like. As far as it goes for an Arxis game, it's probably one of the easier Arxis games to pick up. But it is still an Arxis game. It is still a tag game.
I think casual fans are going to run into two things with this game now. Well, I think all players of this game will run into the game having network issues, ring matches having problems, all this other stuff. Like there's just a lot of fucked up things happening around the matchmaking and stuff in that game. And then for casual fans of Dragon Ball Z, when they do get into a match, a lot of the people that are playing now have gotten good. And it starts to feel like Marvel did, where you're like, I'm just bouncing around and I don't even have an opportunity to tag. And those players are getting fucked up, and why would they keep playing? Unless they're, if they finish the story mode, then maybe they're done. I don't know. I think that's a shame, because if the matchmaking was better, I think you'd have more people trying to play it, and you'd have a wider array of skill levels. Instead, only the most dedicated people that want those fights are in there in matchmaking, and I've found fucking blowing people up.
After a lot of testing, I found my most stable way of finding a match is sign up for a casual or ranked match and go into training mode. And I feel like I'm getting...
How long's the wait?
Like 30 seconds to a minute, maybe 3 minutes if it's bad.
That's how I've been finding matches also. Like the ring match and arena match stuff in the lobbies just seems
completely
busted.
broken.
Yeah.
Like I get a ring match working 1 out of 6 times.
And then even when you do, it's like the ring match is only open as long as the host stays there. It doesn't transfer hosts. So if they're like, oh, I just got fucking worked, I'm going to go find other players, they shut the whole thing down. And it's
still easier to find a match than playing Infinite.
Yeah. I would still rather play that game. Especially now that, well, I don't know that I'll ever get into modding it, but someone modded Teen Gohan into Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, I saw that.
Like a Supersonic, and it looks fucking kind of legit.
I did not. Yeah, I saw the Sonic stuff. I saw looked like it fit the game.
It's
I didn't.
The attacks even look. It's fucking crazy.
I didn't see any media of this, but apparently somebody also got Nicolas Cage in there.
Of course, yeah, the natural. Other like, oh, Dragon Ball Z. Well, what if Nicolas Cage was in this? Of course, you would do that.
Biggest anime fan in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'll just read the EVO lineup real fast.
Yeah,
it's Tekken 7, Super Smash Brothers 4, Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Guilty Gear Xrd, Rev 2, Injustice 2, Super Smash Brothers Melee, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
No.
Really happy to see you, Dragon Ball there.
Yeah.
What about
taking the number 2 spot right behind Street Fighter for top 8?
What about Until Night After In Birth?
Unio?
Latest XE latest.
There's
a hotel. It's a hotel room. I'll let you know about.
All right.
They run like semi-official. Like,
yeah, they announced this year they're going to have a stream going for not all of, but many side tournaments, and they even considered getting like little EVO medals for those side tournaments to give out to the winners and stuff.
That's cool.
Little tiny medal.
Like having have some fun with some smaller games.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got their game.
But yeah, this is there's a lot of anime. There's a lot of Smash. I mean, there's even anime that's not even out yet. The Blaze Blue stuff.
Yeah,
that's not the first time they've done that, though. I don't think
they did it with Tekken.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup, and yeah, certainly a swerve away from traditional Capcom stuff.
Yeah,
and it's in August now, which means it's further away from E3, which means I might want to go to it.
Maybe
they're gonna change up the venue this year. I think it's still at the same place, but they're doing more like of a stage show as opposed to like the big
just warehouse
platform in the middle. Yeah, so it'll be more like a concert type thing.
Okay,
more traditional.
Huh.
They got to have the booth though. Like they can't get rid of the booth.
No,
need the booth.
Gotta have the booth.
I need James. Evo's not Evo unless James Chen is crying like a baby.
Yeah.
Seth Killian's on the verge of it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's my Evo.
Is he still pretty heavily involved in Evo now that he's a Riot Games employee?
No, I don't know about organization or anything.
He's done commentating.
That's mainly what I meant. He's still he's still visible.
He flew over. He commentated Evo Japan, didn't he?
That sounds right. Yeah, I think so.
And he and Mike Ross did the ESPN.
Yeah,
the first year they had it on ESPN.
Yep.
Riot, kind of one of those companies that people tend to disappear into.
Right.
To some extent. So
yeah.
I don't know if he was still out there.
I like to imagine
Seth,
it
if
like
you're okay, let us know.
I like to imagine it like Hooli in Silicon Valley, where you can kind of just do whatever you want because it's so big and it's impossible to keep track of all its employees.
Maybe, yeah.
Very, very possible.